Hello, welcome back. This is the 11th time I filmed this video. Multiple people got angry during it. You know what, let's not discuss that. Anyways, let's get into fountain pen anatomy. So let's start. So, the cap. On this pen, it is a snap cap because it closes with a snap. You can also call this a slide-on cap. You can also call this a hat cap. Why? I don't know. And now the other type of cap is what's called a screw cap. Because I hate it, no. Because it screws on. Like a screw. Wow. And now on these caps you usually have a clip, and on this one we like to call it a paper clip style clip. Or a paper clip. Like a clip made of paper. I should have scripted this video. Anyways, but on most pens, you get this straight clip. And on some of them, you also have a ball at the end to help slide it onto a shirt. I was wearing a long sleeve shirt in this video, but now I'm not because of, again, one of those times I had to re-record. So when you open up the pen, when you take off the cap, you can see the nib, which is the metal part at the front or the back, I don't know, at the top of the pen that you write with. I have a handy piece of paper right here. Ta-da! That writes. Now, the nib is usually the most expensive part of the pen because sometimes they can be pretty special. This is a gold nib pen. Now what that means is the nib is made out of usually 18 karat or 14 karat gold. The reason 24 karat gold isn't used is because it's too soft and it will break, and it will bend and break. Now when you take off the nib, anyways, now I'll show you the nib closer. So on the nib you can see it says Pilot 14K-585, which means it's 14 karat, and the 585 is a hallmark of 14 karat gold because it means it's 58.5% gold, which is exactly 14 karat gold. If it was 12 karat gold, it would be 500 because that's 50.0% gold. Anyways, and underneath it says 5, which means it's a number 5 size of nib, according to Pilot, and FM is the size of the nib. So FM is the size that it writes, which is fine medium. I haven't inked this pen yet. Now the nib designs can also vary quite a lot. So this is usually the more standard nib design. But you can also have, again, something like this, or something like this, or something like this. Now this is a semi-hooded nib, which means that the section or the grip of the pen extends past the nib a little bit and covers it. Now a fully hooded nib would the section would extend even more over and just show just the tip of the pen. Now let's see. Now, okay, so these nib materials that usually consist of gold and steel, but they can also be titanium and palladium and some other kooky materials because manufacturers just decided, let's just change it up. And by change it up, we mean change it so it's cheaper for us. Okay, and on the nib again, we're focusing a lot on the nib today because, as you can see here, this little hole, that's called the breather hole. Now, you might think it's actually for something important. You'd be kind of wrong. You see on this salami, no breather hole. Not because it's covered with ink, but because the breather hole is just a side effect of it's usually part of the manufacturing process. The reason they cut this hole is so that it's easier for them to make the tine slit, the nib slit, which is, if you can see it here, Ta-da! And these two parts are called the tines, and this is the nib slit so that they can move apart and flex. Okay, so the feed. This is what we call the plastic part, which is under the nib, like this. What this does is it pulls ink into itself, into the fins. These little bits. These are the fins, and the fins store the ink and store some ink, and they also allow the ink to, using capillary action, to travel through this, which is the feed channel, this little line there, onto the underside of the nib, and then through that little part, this little round part here, which is called the tipping material. It's called the tip of the nib. And that tipping material is usually made of a hard metal alloy, usually iridium. Usually iridium. Sometimes it can be something different, and sometimes there might not actually be tipping material. If the company is, say, going through a Great Depression, what they do is they would just make the nib like this, but without the tip. They'd make it look like it had a tip, and they would stamp it slightly, so they would stamp it like this, so that the tip looked like that, and that would be called a spoon nib. It was a fake tip. Now these feeds can also be ebonite, with in this pen here. And the good part about ebonite is it can be heat set, so you can avoid something called railroading, which is when the capillary action breaks. Now the body of these pens, they can go from decorative, like here. They can also be rather simple, like this. Whatever it is, it's the part that allows the designers to go insane. And insane they do go sometimes. Sometimes they, and sometimes I really worry for their mental health, because really some of their designs are really just insane. What was Mont Blanc thinking when they designed the Leo Tolstoy pen? Ridiculous. Anyways, now these pens that are clearish, that are what's the word? Translucent. Yeah, translucent. They're called demonstrator pens. They're not clear pens. They're demonstrators. Okay. Demonstrators. The reason they had these was that back in the olden days, salesmen would be given these pens instead of opaque versions, and they would show these to their customers to show them how they worked and hopefully scam them for some money. I mean, they called it making a sale, but really it's highway robbery, isn't it? Now, okay. And let's move on to the last thing we'll talk about today, where the video got ruined last time: filling mechanisms. So filling mechanisms can be they can really range from one thing to the other. They can be pretty different. So the first filling mechanism isn't really a filling mechanism at all. It's what we call cartridges. Now, you probably know what a cartridge is. And it's exactly what you think it is. It's a tube of ink that you put into the pen right way around, and then you take a hammer and you smash it. No, you can do that, but you break the pen. That's probably the worst way to put ink into your pen, because you just get so you don't get a lot of colors, and it's also not very environmentally friendly. So, it's bad for the poor fishies who have to eat your plastic. So the second method is what is called a cartridge converter, because it converts your cartridge filling pen to a pen that fills regularly, like everyone else. So this is what we call an aerometric converter, or a sack converter. Now, the reason we call it a sack converter is because we sacked them a long time ago for piston converters. I'm joking. We call it a sack converter because of the rubber or plastic sack inside of it that you push down, dip in the ink, and you release. You push it again, you release. And what that does is that it pushes out air and it draws ink into the pen when you release it. Just wipe that off a little. Okay. Right, now the second type of converter that we actually use nowadays is what's called the piston converter. So what this does is it uses this piston in here to push out air and pull in ink. Kind of like the sack, but better. So you just twist, then you untwist it, and there we go, filled with ink, like that. Now, this is where it gets interesting because we've basically gone through like 80% of all pen filling mechanisms, and now we're on to some more interesting ones. The built-in filling mechanisms. Now what these are, built-in filling mechanisms here. Now there are two main types, piston and vacuum. So this is a built-in piston, this is a built-in vacuum filler. Okay, and it'll be a little harder to demonstrate these, but I'll give it a shot. So I have a bottle of ink here. Let's unscrew it. Get ready. So what a piston is, it's basically a huge piston converter that's inside the pen. So you twist this down and then you untwist it to fill. It's basically the same as a piston converter, but it's bigger. It's bigger. So you dip your pen in, then you fill it. Now, I haven't done that very well, as you can see, but let me try to get a better filling on the next round. Okay. There we go. And now I have pretty much a very good filling on my piston filling pen. Here, there we go. So you twist and untwist until it's full of ink and you're ready to write. For a vacuum filler, it's a little different. So what you have to do is you have to untwist that, and then you have to untwist, and you have to untwist your knob at the end, but that doesn't do anything because what that's done is that's released your valve right there, and you have to pull out your vacuum, sorry, like that. And this is an unnecessary step, but I will just clean this rod a little bit so it's clean. Yeah, that's how it works. I'm a genius. NASA, hire me. Unscrew my bottle of ink. And what you want to do is, you want to put it in and then just push down this rod. Well, sometimes it doesn't work. You have to push down this rod, and there, the ink just comes rushing up. You can see it. I will go for it one more time. Ta-da! Ink comes up again. Oh, you didn't see it this time either? Okay, well, I'm just to show off now. Ta-da! Oh, you didn't see it again? Well, no more demonstrations. This is the last demonstration I'm giving today. Thank you for watching this admittedly way too long video on fountain pen anatomy and filling mechanisms. I hope you actually come and watch the rest, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Yes, full recording. Woo!